Once upon a time, in a far, far away land of Michigan, there was the Daiso family. And Aaron, he was on the radio, but then there was a girl named Danae. She's a local girl, and she was told by lots of people, you should be on the radio, Renee. And so she infiltrated. So then Aaron and Danae, they were like, hey, we should shoe a doe. Well, actually, Aaron said, let's shoe a doe. And Danae was like, what does that mean? Does that mean something about putting shoes on some sort of deer or something? And he was like, no, it's a spoonerism. And Danae's like, what's a spoonerism? And he was like, I'll show you. And so shoe a doe means do the show. Isn't that funny?
If I were in your brain right now, I would be jumping over obstacles. I imagine that being in your brain would be kind of like, it would kind of be like a treasure hunt slash, what's the guy that's the treasure hunter and he has the hat and the whip? That guy.
Indiana Jones.
Yes, it would be like Indiana Jones adventure.
He's not really a treasure hunter.
He sometimes is.
Not really. He's an archaeologist.
He totally hunts treasure.
But no.
That's like
not really. He hunts relics. It is
well,
not
relics,
treasure.
Relics are his treasure.
All right, hold on. We need to get Jeremy in on this conversation.
What? What if he likes relics?
But it's not solely about treasure.
But relics are his treasure.
But
Hey there.
Hey, Jeremy, how's it going, man? You need to settle a score for us. We're in the midst of deep conversation.
It's not a score. Relics are his treasure.
My friend Danae, who you're just meeting for the first time,
What's up, dude?
said that
Nice to meet you.
It said that Indiana Jones is a treasure hunter, and I said no, he's an archaeologist.
Yeah, he's not a treasure hunter, but there's some of that in there. Like, that's the reason you're arguing, is because you're both a little right. But he's way more archaeologist than treasure hunter. I just don't think that guy does what he does in those movies if there's not some portion of him that likes the adventure of hunting the treasure.
Yeah.
The archaeology is how he gets into it, though. And at the end of it, he's not doing any of it for money.
Archaeology is his gateway drug.
Exactly. The first one's free.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this is my friend Jeremy Scott, who is obviously a diplomat.
What's up, Jeremy Scott, diplomat man?
Went to college with Jeremy and talked a lot of movies back in the day, and still occasionally get the chance to hang out and talk movies and TV and pop culture. And so we're going to talk about the Avengers, and I thought you would be a wonderful person to be able to have on, and I would love to hear kind of your thoughts on the movie. Now, Danae has been itching all day because I told her we couldn't talk about it until we were recording. She's been itching all day to tell me what she thought of the Avengers, so we're going to let her go first, okay?
And I'm assuming you're just going to hit record and then you're going to edit all the crap out later, right?
No, he never edits the crap out. In fact, what he does is he records everything, and then the things that you think that he's going to take away, he keeps in and highlights. It's amazing.
That's fine with me. I just like knowing that ahead of time, so I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, you're already recording.
Oh, yeah.
You were in the thick of it.
Yeah, we were recording since before the Indiana Jones conversation.
You came in.
Excellent. All right, I will do my best to embarrass myself.
So what I thought of the movie?
Yes, please. You start us off, Danae.
So good! No way! Yes, it is so good.
That's it. That's
I
all.
liked it.
So, what
that.
specifically did you like about it?
I was in a very vocal group of people watching this movie.
Okay.
And I love that I laughed out loud. That is very rare for me in a movie, where I actually just like from the gut give it a good guffaw. It was good.
So the humor really.
I love that they had humor. Well, I thought the most interesting part was that there's so many main characters, but they each played a main role. They each kind of had their spotlight moment, and none of it felt like it was out of context or that it was all overlapping or that it went too fast. So there was a lot. I liked everything about this movie, which is very different.
What do you think, Jeremy?
Well, I'm tainted. I spent too many years in the movie theater to watch movies like a normal person anymore. So, my own worst enemy every time I go in. But surprisingly, probably the most fun I've had in years in the theater. I was really able to let go and just have a big smile on my face the whole time. I really liked it.
I loved it as well. I think that's, when I went into it, I had heard so much of just kind of the the over exuberance from people who had seen it. And I just thought it cannot be that good, I'm excited for it. When I have expectations for a movie that can affect how I feel about it, I just thought there's no way it can exceed my expectations that much. And it really kind of did.
It was good.
It really was. And I think of the level of difficulty that Joss Whedon had, who we haven't even talked about, him yet and his fingerprints all over this thing. But the level of difficulty he had in pulling these worlds together and servicing all of the characters in a way that felt right and felt real, and the relationships in this thing are incredible.
And also, if someone was watching Avengers and hadn't watched any of the previous films that give more of a lead role to Hulk or Iron Man or whoever, they each still have you could watch it completely blank. You could watch it having never seen anything before, and I think it would have been great.
Thinking about, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
You can interrupt all you want.
I was thinking about that. He's the perfect guy for this. Like, he doesn't have anywhere near the pedigree to get this movie, and I've been racking my brain since he landed the gig as to how he sort of outkicked his coverage there, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the ensemble. That's got to be it. Every single thing he's ever touched, from Buffy to Firefly, it's all ensemble driven, and he has a knack historically for giving every character that shining moment, giving everyone their due in a way that I guess this movie demanded. I didn't realize it until I saw it, but he was the perfect guy to kind of balance all that. He
also gets strong women characters as well. You think of a lot of the stuff he's done, like with Firefly and different things, and the stuff he gave Scarlett Johansson with. I totally just blanked on the character's name. It's Black Widow?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is that right? The stuff with Black Widow, right at the beginning, right up front, I'm just going, yeah, that's Joss. That's like his fingerprints on that
cell phone scene.
And I was so impressed with her and Renner doing the whole, Hawkeye thing, because they didn't have their own origin movie, and yet they felt like just as crucial a part of what was going on.
Yeah.
Which was pretty incredible.
I was just going to say, I think Whedon's other major touch was the humor that we talked about already. I think he wrote the script, and those jokes just feel like him to me. I'm a big fan of his stuff, and I realize everybody isn't, but I think that was his signature on the film as well. The ensemble balancing, and then just that sense of humor. Everybody gets great lines. Everybody.
I want to talk about the relationships a little bit, because there are so many of them, and I already mentioned how impossible the task was to really understand how all these people relate to each other, and yet somehow by the end of the movie we get every single relationship in the movie. What was your favorite pairing, or your favorite, it could be a pairing of a fight, it could be a pairing of, a conversation. Who did you think really, the chemistry really flew?
Hulk and Iron Man for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
I think it was great to see Hulk kind of take a more he had a different personality in this one. He was kind of more mysterious. I don't know the actor's name, but I really enjoy him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most movies I've ever seen him in, I really like his personality quite a bit. But you've got this kind of these two crazy, incredible science minds, and they get to come together and connect in a way that I don't think either character can normally connect with other people in the world. So you've got that going for him, and you've got Iron Man kind of like probing him the whole time, like, all right, buddy, it's your turn, coming up real quick. And then he always believed that the Hulk would show up, and of course he does. Gives the old 1-2 punch to Mr. Scary Worm creature. It was awesome.
By the way, Danae doesn't fear spoilers at all. She'll
Oh, right. Oh, please rewind podcast and listen from this point forward. Hulk and Iron Man, they were great.
What about you, Jeremy?
I was, she completely stole my thunder. I think that's the best relationship in the movie. Watching Iron Man's, sort of pedal to the metal personality try and push Banner a little bit, but at the same time, there was a connection there over their intellect that neither one of them got from any of the other members. But since she took that one, I will say I also enjoyed sort of the macho back and forth, at least that one little moment with Captain America and Iron Man, where Captain America keeps yelling, put on the suit, because he wants to beat him up. And then something happens, and he says it again with a little different meaning. I really liked that moment. And their kind of interplay there, and how they just dropped that fight to go deal with whatever was going on.
Yeah, well, since she stole yours, you ended up stealing mine. I love the Captain America Iron Man stuff, and I love it more even for that moment. I love it more for kind of the juxtaposition of their worldview. You know, Captain America is this, you know, stars and stripes, honor and integrity, and you know, here's Tony Stark, who's this playboy, and you know, get it done at all costs, and you know, just doesn't take anything seriously. And to see them kind of come against each other and come to a point at where they come to an understanding of who each other are, and there's even just this very small, there's so many subtle and small moments in this movie. They're so beautiful, but there's this subtle moment when they're getting ready to go into battle and Iron Man says, you know, take it, Cap, or something like that, because he knows what their roles are now, you know, and he knows that he's the strategist and the leader and the, you know, the one who stands out front and leads the charge. And I just think that's so incredible, and so I really love that relationship. So now I feel like I have to figure out another one since we're kind of stealing each other's. But I actually have to say, other than that, I really, really appreciated the relationship between, and this is going to sound weird, but the relationship between Iron Man and Pepper Potts. I thought they nailed that so perfectly.
It's such a quick little moment too, but they got it right. It's funny because when she was stealing mine, I was thinking about that as my answer, because I thought that moment was really rang true in a way that, like, the Pepper Iron Man dynamic in the first two standalone Iron movies never got to that point that it does in this brief little moment of the Avengers.
Anybody other than our main Avengers, which I would include Hawkeye and Black Widow, is there any other character in the movie that stood out to you? Jeremy, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
I think the guy that played Loki is Tom Hiddleston, I think, and he wasn't given hardly anything to do in this movie. And if I had one major complaint, it's that I didn't think the threat was as fleshed out as the heroes. But he nails every single look, reaction, glare. He is so energetic, I think, as an actor. He really brought a lot of weight to scenes that I think another actor would have made feel boring. I really liked him.
He is great, and he manages to both convey menace and also being the little brother, you know, being the, you know, he's both menacing and insecure a little bit. And it's really interesting and smarmy. You know, he gets all of those and finds a way to combine them. What about you today?
I'm kind of teetering back and forth, but I think I'm going to go with unknown chick name. She's the one that starts the film, and then she's kind of like Pirate Man's right-hand lady. What's
the girl from How I Met Your Mother.
Pirate Man?
Wait, I'm sorry. I lost his name.
We just switched movies, I think.
No, she's talking about Samuel L. Jackson because he has an eye patch.
But what's his name? What's his name? Why did I totally forget his name? That's horrible. Anyway, that guy, the chick. Yeah. She was awesome because I had no idea who she was.
That's so funny. That was the one character that I didn't connect with at all. Like, I didn't know what her place was necessarily.
Yeah. It's like, who is she? But she manages to also seem to belong in every scene that she's in.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed watching her. Go get him.
I've never read the comics, but I get the sense that from what I've seen online that she has a bigger role to play down the road.
Right.
That this was more of an introduction, and that maybe, I don't know if she's got powers or she's an assassin or anything, but I think she's a bigger deal in the Avengers story comic-wise, and so maybe she will be down the road. That's
what I walked away thinking of. Oh, and I could also say that, I guess at this point, that the very last person that kind of talks at the whole, like, after everything's blown up and they've saved the day, which, spoiler, is not really a spoiler. They're gonna save the day. But she's like the one that's getting interviewed, and she's like a child actress. I don't know who she is, but her face is so familiar to me, and she's some child actress. Have you ever had that moment whenever you're watching something on television or you're watching a movie and you're like, I know that face?
Sure.
That's a kid face in a grown-up body. What's going on? How many years have passed? Who are you? That was that person from it. And Justin and I, my husband and I, were still confused.
She's the youngest from Growing Pains.
I
can't remember her name. Johnson, Ashley Johnson, something
With
Johnson.
Curls.
She played Chrissy on the Growing Pains.
Good call.
Yeah. So I was like, wait, I know her. Wait, I don't know her. Yes, I do.
You're talking like on the news footage.
Yeah.
She's like, Captain America saved me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to thank him for saving my life.
Yeah, that was pretty powerful.
Like, who are you? I couldn't connect to the emotion because I was totally in, you're a child. What are you doing in a grown-up girl body? That was weird.
My biggest periphery character, and was a bit of surprise how much I connected to him, was Coulson, Agent Coulson. Phil, yes, Phil. He's been in every movie.
I know.
And it's like he's for so long has just been this guy that like pops up to let you know, of the kind of the context of what's going on here. And all of a sudden he's a real person. And that was very intentional, to do that to us. And I really enjoyed his part in the movie. And I just thought it was another example of how Whedon just completely understands characters and relationships and how it works with the audience. And yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
So I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Who do you think was like the big star of the film? Like, who do you think stole the show?
Stole the show?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'll start us off with that. And what I want to do is maybe finish with best thing, worst thing.
Ooh.
So, be thinking about what if you had to pick one thing that was the best thing about the movie and one thing that was, the worst thing about the movie. We probably should start with the worst thing so we can end on a good note.
Right.
Knowing that all of us love this movie, adored this movie, worst thing is going to be a little bit of a misnomer, I'm sure. But I'll start it off. I thought the worst thing in the movie for me was probably the first 20 minutes. It felt like it was a little bit heavy getting started. Now, not a lot, and to be honest, that is really nitpicking, but I just, I did find myself in those first moments of the team not quite being together yet, that it was a little plotty for me. Jeremy, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I agree. I think the pacing is off in the first hour or so. I don't ultimately end up minding because there's so much fun and so much candy to look at. But it takes a while to get going. And you could have started the movie at the halfway point and I would have left just as thrilled. But since you took that one, I'll say, there were several moments to me of inconvenient plotting, or I should say convenient plotting, where moments felt like the characters got out of something because of the script. It sounds like a bigger complaint than it really is. There's just a few moments, especially in that first hour, where I felt like things worked out pretty conveniently for our heroes. There's one moment in particular where the main bad guy, who has a blue laser lightning power of some sort, decides to tell one of his henchmen to shoot somebody with a gun instead of using his, otherworldly power, and it may come back to bite him later in the movie. Things like that, moments that I thought, well, that's pretty convenient that such and such happened right then.
Right.
But you forget all of that pretty quickly once they bring everybody together and the barbs start flying and everybody gets their screen time and they start chewing into those scenes. All of that melted away. And even when I was pointing those things out, I had a huge smile on my face. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Danae, you got one?
Yeah, mine has nothing to do with the movie. Kind of, I guess, does. I didn't like the sound. Like, I kept thinking, man, that could have sounded so much better. And I don't know if it was the music or if there's just a couple parts where I was like, just sounded dead to me. I love it whenever I'm in a world. So maybe it was a theater that I was in. I don't know. But for me, I several times found myself like outside of the movie, and I found myself paying attention to the sound to me.
So you felt like the sound design was off just a little bit?
Maybe. Yeah.
I know I loved the score. I found myself really being moved by the
music was good.
The music.
The sound, like the sound effects and things, I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't pulled in as much.
Okay. All right. Best thing. I'll start us off because it goes back to the question that was asked of me, which is who stole the show. For me, that's Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. And the Hulk scenes are phenomenal as well. I mean, when he's, Hulk smashing. But when he's Bruce Banner, he captured that character better than Ed Norton did, and certainly better than Eric Bana did. And I fell in love with Bruce Banner in this movie, and I was not expecting that at all. I thought he was phenomenal, and he stole the show for me. So that's my best thing. How about you, Danae?
Well, you stole mine. What is going on? I have to pass because I have to think about another one.
All right.
I would just echoing what you said. I would pay 10 times the price of admission today just to see the moment between Hulk and Loki again.
Yeah, that's exactly the moment I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I have never seen a moment in an action movie that held so many positive emotions for me. It was funny. It was thrilling. It was macho. I wanted to scream, cheer, dance. and then it's one little 30-second moment.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm going to watch over and over when I get the DVD. But that being said, since you talked about Hulk and he clearly steals the show, I'm going to say the best thing about that movie, and this is terrible, is the scene that comes at the very end of the credits.
Yeah. Did you stick around, Danae?
Oh, of course I did.
Okay, good.
I think that's one of the funniest things in the whole movie. I could not stop laughing.
I know.
At the restraint they showed in that clip and how perfect it was. It really made me leave the theater with a ginormous smile. Yeah,
it was so great. And my wife kept talking about it too, when we left. She was just like, "Oh, that was so perfect." And it's just such a great idea, and they pulled it off perfectly. And yeah, I'm so with you. That was great. Danae's looking at me like, wait, you probably saw the first scene that was after a few credits. Did you stay all the way to the end of the full credits?
No. That's a frustration.
Well, we'll tell you all about it once we're done with the recording.
It's on YouTube already. You can go find it. And
I'm going to YouTube it. Hey, thanks. Thank you for that. That makes me feel very good. I don't know.
The real question is this: is anyone gonna care about another Thor movie or another Iron Man movie without all these other people in it with them?
That's a great question.
I doubt it. I think that there's going to be a request for.
Well, I know there's one person in this room that will care. I mean, I would love to see it, but the question is, will it be able to resonate in the same way?
Or are they going to have to bring in Hulk for 15 minutes of Iron Man 3 just to satisfy audiences that enjoyed this? Like I feel like they went so big, they may have shot their individual franchises in the foot long term. Why would we want to go back now that we've seen them all on screen together and it was so awesome?
That's fair. I think if they're smart, they fast track a Hulk movie with Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, he doesn't really have his individual movie yet, and so at least I think audiences would be excited. Plus he stole the show. So I think if they're smart, they go that route.
I read the other day that they're thinking about doing that. So
it makes a lot of sense. I know Iron Man 3 is supposed to be next.
If they did maybe Iron Man and Hulk together, because I don't think that Hulk should be in Iron Man for 15 minutes. I think that would be too much of a tease. I think it'd make me angry.
Of course, you run the risk, though. You give Hulk his own movie. You run that risk that the first two movies ran. What if his arc doesn't? What if his story doesn't? Sustain a movie quite as well. Like maybe he steals this movie because he's only in it for a few minutes here and there, hulking out as part of a group. And I look back at those first two Hulk movies and maybe couldn't have been more bored. It's I trust Whedon and I trust the new Bruce Banner because he brought something to Banner that nobody else had. So I'd be curious to see it.
I still don't know that I have a favorite.
Okay, well you love so many things. Just pick one more thing that you loved.
There's nothing coming to my brain. Like nothing. I just want to go watch the movie.
All right, I'll do one for you then.
No, you don't get mine.
Yes, I do, because you passed on it, so I get to fill it.
No. Oh.
Danae's favorite moment was... No, I'm just kidding. No, I loved that split-second moment where I think it's Iron Man fires off of Captain America's shield. I mean, it's just like this really split second, and it's just like, and I loved it because it was just a split second. It was just like all this is going on, and I think that's in the midst of one of the most incredible superhero tracking shots that, I mean, from one character to the other to see what they're doing, and then through the city. And
I loved that.
Yeah,
that whole scene through the major fight of the movie where you just found yourself all of a sudden you're watching this guy fight and you're watching this girl fight and it's panning up here, but it goes perfectly and smooth and seamlessly.
Yeah, no cuts.
You're not jarred around. Yeah,
it was. That was beautiful. I really enjoyed that. Well, I've appreciated this, guys. This is good. I love chatting movies, and Jeremy, it's always good to catch up with you. And I'm glad.
Thanks for inviting me.
I'm glad you really liked it. Maybe we'll do it again sometime. Maybe.
It could become a normal thing.
Danae, how about you close us out with your one moment iteration of what the Avengers meant to you?
That's a lot of pressure.
Well, you didn't give us your best thing, so you owe us this.
I do.
Yes.
Okay.
Just to encapsulate. All right, we'll do the Rorschach test.
Okay, Rorschach test.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
The Avengers, go.
Beautiful, witty, charming, wondermous, adventure-packed, some spandex. Oh man, that guy has a nice butt. I'm sorry. There's just this scene whenever you're seeing Captain America, and I was just like, whoa, that is a very handsome Captain America.
Yeah, the filters, they're gone.
I'm sorry.
No filters on Shoe the Dough.
You ask me again. I'm sorry. We'll do it again.
No.
Take 2.
Okay, the Avengers, go. You're only thinking of the butt. That's it. That's all you're thinking of. You can't help it.
Why don't you ever do these?
Do you want me to write it down for you this time?
Shoe the Dough, thanks. Bye, Danae. Well, you've listened to another podcast. You've survived. Now you get to subscribe, right? On iTunes. Or the website. You can go to shoethedough.com. Or you can go to Facebook and like us. Or you can go to G+ and plus us. Or you can go to Twitter and tweet us. What else is there? What am I forgetting?
You gotta thank people.
Thank you for listening to Shoe the Dough.
No, like specific people who helped out.
Oh, right, because Chris Tilly rules because he did our music, and 88.3 is great because they let us have the studio. Oh, and thanks to Jeremy Scott for helping us review the movie today.
There. The end.
The end. I'm ready.
You ready?
Ooh. Okay, I'm ready.
You don't have one more in you? Really?
I mean, that's the noise that came out
Oh,
of me.
this is the life I live. The microphones come on and the noises come out.